Well, hello, my babies. How you doing? Welcome to another wonderful episode of Spiritual Tea Time with Reverend Patience, sponsored by the lovely Indigo Psychics, which I am very proud to be part ownership of and part of the readers and advisors that we have there. We are going through some revamping and relaunching by the end of this month. And I'm very excited of the new things that we're going to be doing because we're not going to just be about entertainment. We're actually real spiritual advisors where we're actually teachers. And, not only are we going to say, hey, Spirit's saying this is what's going on with your situation. Well, go to the right person, they'll be able to say, hey, if you do this, this, and this, guess what? You're going to make your situation better, or give you the confirmation you need that everything's cool, copacetic. You don't need to do a damn thing, and that's why we are striving our best to be as different as possible, and have a little bit of everybody. That's why Indigo Psychics has its name, is because Indigo's psychics, we're in all cultures, we're all spiritualities, we all hold that spiritual gift, you know and so hopefully we'll be able to give you the guidance that you need. Henceforth, like the show tonight, we're going to be talking about the divine masculine, and what that is and how to recognize it within self. We all have it. We all have the divine feminine, divine masculine. Some people call it yin and yang. We got to know that when we're leaning too much toward the masculine or too much toward the feminine, when we get that imbalance going, things in our lives start messing up, and you don't wonder why things are not flowing, with especially with the blessings and everything. So tonight we're going to focus on, like I said, the divine masculine and the importance of healing that and recognizing what about it in you that you need healed and everything. When people start talking about it, they're always thinking about just men. No, women have it too. Like I said, we both have the feminine and the masculine within us, the yin and the yang. So to help me talk about it tonight, one of my favorite gypsies in the world. I know some of y'all think, guess what? We're claiming it back. Some of us called gitanas and a few other words. But you know what? We're claiming it back. And one of my favorite ones in the world is from Slavic Crimson Moon, um, Miss Carla. Hey, gorgeous. How are you?
Hello, Reverend Patience. How are you this evening?
Oh, extremely blessed and highly favored as always, because I'm loving every minute in it, because it's pissing off all the right people. And real quick, from Vegas, from the Weird Sisters, and also one of the head administrators of the Las Vegas chapter of Wolfschlager Hexenbrew, the witch dancing group that originated from Germany, is Cas Segundo, better known as Mama Voodoo. She says, groans and hisses, my sisters. Mama Voodoo is on the mend, but unsupervised. Uh-oh, you better watch out.
That sounds like it could be dangerous
Uh-huh.
in all the right
And
ways, though.
oh yes. Oh, if you ever get out to Vegas and everything, you got to go hang out with them. They are some of the most fabulous ladies you ever met in your life. Especially during Halloween, anybody in Vegas knows who Mama Voodoo is. Okay, she is a staple. She's the true essence of what you would really would picture Maman Brigitte of Voodoo down in
Okay.
New Orleans, with the bright red hair, the skull looking face, the top hat, the trench coat, hot sauce, and the freaking coffee. Yep, that's her. That's my call. Oh, yes. I'm very proud to, be associated with them. And maybe one day in the future, be able to travel out there and finally get to dance with the ladies. But I do, speaking of which, am very honored. October 26th, our Halloween special and everything. And then a couple weeks afterwards into November, I'll be having both the Weird Sisters, Lady TA, and Mama Voodoo, um, and doing a thing and featuring them at the Halloween thing that they put on there in Vegas, live from there. And then in November, the whole dancing troupe of Wolfschlager Hexenbrew is going to be doing a special dance and everything in honor of the ancestors, celebrating Samhain and all that stuff. And I'm so excited. I feel spoiled. Yay. Anyways, um, Formeza 1996 says thank you, and Ashay, thank you for joining us. Um, I said, we're talking about especially for women and everything, because the way society is and everything, recognizing that divine masculine within and everything. And can you give a better explanation of what it is, besides having to recognize what it is within self?
What it is within self. And if we look at, you look at any ancient culture, you look at the indigenous cultures from pretty much every continent, every race across the globe,
Hmm.
we had men who had a purpose to hunt, to
Right.
defend. Now, that didn't mean that a woman's only function was to breed and to serve and to cook and to clean. See, during those times, and I think by divine providence, this was done. I wholeheartedly believe that. When men went to hunt, went to
Hmm.
fight, who was left? You had the women, the children, and the elderly. Who's the
Hmm.
strongest of those three? The women. So
Exactly.
we had to learn to balance protecting those who were weaker, those who needed our protection, yet at the same
Mm.
time, keeping that balance. Now, today, of course, we don't live that way anymore. However, we do have a changed society where, women work, outside of the home and inside of the home. Sometimes it's one or the other. But from a spiritual
Right.
point of view, I think from a spiritual point of view, the divine masculine, when healed, the divine masculine is that protector, is that
Hmm.
co provider who can
Yes.
adequately survive and understands how to keep things in order and in balance without the presence of, I'll say, the biological masculine.
Yes.
And within us, it is that warrior spirit. It is that, that louder voice, that, the assertive, not the aggressive, the assertive. And when that is out of balance, and you will notice this, and it's interesting because you will notice this as I think in both men and women. And we talk about it now. We have all of these, new social terms when we talk about things like, the big catchphrase was toxic masculinity. Everybody was talking about toxic masculinity. Never heard whisper about toxic femininity, but that's a whole other story because that exists too.
Yes.
And really, what I consider that is an unhealed masculine, an unhealed feminine. So look at today, where in recent years, especially with the advent of the internet, because you didn't always see it unless you lived it. But look at a day and age when you would go onto websites like Homestar Runner, eBombs World, and what are they showing? They're showing tons of girl fights. It's girls throwing
Yep.
cuffs. It's girls throwing hands. And yeah, all right, sometimes you have to. If somebody comes after my kid or one of mine, yeah, I'm gonna go on the offensive.
Right.
But that's a reaction to direct threat.
Hmm.
Now, what had happened was, in that if you were ever raised, it's funny, in the Polish culture and in the Slavic culture, they call it the matryoshka, which basically is almost an untranquil female spirit. Now, that wasn't the woman that was assertive. That wasn't the woman that was, you know, trying to protect herself, her young, her home. That was the hen pecking nag, the one
Yeah.
that no matter what you did, it wasn't good enough. The, always miserable, never had a nice thing to say, side eyeing everybody, throwing shade. And of course, that, and then with men, the toxic feminine, in where it's manifesting in men, is that it's the hyper emotional, to
Mhm.
where this is, you're probably going to get like, you're going to get hit for this. And I'm so sorry, Reverend Patience, but I speak truth. And
Girl, that's what
it's,
we're about. Let
it's,
them hit.
yeah, it's the emasculation in a very unhealthy way of
Yes.
men. And I was actually having a talk with my own relatives not that long ago, and we were talking about really the power of women and just what a strong influence. And I asked them, because I talked to, several of my own family members, even people from other, walks of life, friends of mine, people that I know not only in the spiritual community, but the recovery community, different places. And I asked them, who do you resent in your life more, your father or your mother? And 99.9 times, not I'm saying that there aren't people that don't have issues with the masculine in their family, but they come to resent the feminine. Because when they needed to be nurtured, they were parentified. When they needed to be nurtured, they were shamed. When they needed to be nurtured, there's jealousy and all kinds of terrible things that happen among there. And so when you're dealing with within yourself the divine masculine versus the divine feminine, when you are unhealed, you have the inappropriately aggressive woman. You have the nag. You have the one who's never happy, never content, the bitter, the jealous,
Yes.
the angry, the one that thinks it's okay that, we teach boys not to hit girls, but we'll put our hand on a man any old time, any old way, for any old reason, and think that
Mm-hmm.
that's not a problem. Um, and
Behave,
then
Carrie. Sorry.
that's all right. And then you have men who can't stand up for themselves, who have
Yep.
no ability to assert their own authority, their own boundary, their own autonomy. And I mean, look at this, like, nowadays, where I remember growing up, like, and maybe this is a generational thing. You and I are not that far apart in age,
Mm-hmm.
but like, my parents would do things together, but that was like their things. You would not, like, my dad did not go to the shopping mall with my mother. I went, or her girlfriends went. Like the women went out and did that. The men stayed home and played cards, or, fixed something in the house or whatever. And it's like,
Right.
and all right, maybe I mean, I do know guys that like to go out, they'll look at galleries, they'll window shop. There's places for men to shop too. But when the hell did we become a society where we thought somehow it was okay or appropriate that you're out somewhere and you got your man behind you toting your purse? Really? Is that what we do now? Because that's not. But again, it's taking that away. And I think what we've done is we've taken the divine masculine, and instead of using it to, as I said, protect. And yes, there are things worth protecting, our own boundaries, our own right for our own autonomy, bodily autonomy, spiritual autonomy. We have a right to fight for that and protect that. But protecting that does not mean having that balance, having that level of equality. It means putting both people here. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
here. It's even. It's not this. It's not this. It's here.
Yep.
And I
No
think
one's above
what's
the other.
exactly. And we both have a purpose and a need in this world. And what I think is really important too is that I think the pendulum is kind of starting to swing back a little bit into the middle. I look at what's happening in the media. I look at what's happening in the world. And I'm starting to kind of see people are really, really craving balance, really craving that midpoint. And I think it's so important because in the other things that I do, like I said, recovery, I have my own podcast that deals more with my professional writing. But, I've talked to
Mm-hmm.
several men who were the victims of sexual assault, both in children and young adulthood, and not just at the hands of men, at the hands of women as well. And what that
Mm-hmm.
did was it
They don't recognize
forever,
that. They don't want to see that it's always a man who does that. They don't
and that's
realize
not
that women
true.
do the same thing and everything, that women can be pedophiles too.
And that is a manifestation of an unhealed divine masculine. That is unhealed divine masculine energy. It is never, ever anybody's prerogative to take that from someone else. And what we have to understand is that, again, bringing in that balance. Yes, teach your little girls that you don't allow access to your body and to your, to the womb, the gateway to life. You don't just let anybody come in there. But why aren't we teaching our young men that their bodies
Exactly.
are sacred too? You don't just let anybody touch you. Your parts are just as sacred.
Yes. Exactly. Both
And then
all
what
children should be taught that. Yeah, I totally agree with that and everything because some pedophiles they go whatever they can get their hands on. Sometimes they're
Yeah,
not picky and stuff, and many a times it's within the family dynamic. And and you
absolutely.
try for years and everything, and grow up with the toxic mom that let's switch it up. We're not going to talk about it. Don't let anybody know oh, according to the world we got the perfect family. 3 children, 3 bedroom 2 bath home, keeping up with the Joneses. Everybody at church think that you coming in the finest duds, and then let alone what happens around midnight after mama goes to bed, daddy's sneaking
Mm-hmm.
into the room, or your auntie's taking advantage of you, young nephew or whatever, or the uncle taking advantage, type of thing, or the
Yeah.
cousin or whatever.
Or the
And
or the older caretaker while mommy and daddy are out, who
yep,
thinks it's incumbent upon her to make a man out of a young boy. And first of all, that on all levels is messed up. You let a
yes,
child be a child. There is a reason why our ancestors, through every culture, every background, why we mark passage of time, why we mark rites of passage, because it prepares you for the next stage of life. When
yes,
you yank somebody too quickly, whether male or female, from one to the other, you are doing them a great spiritual disservice. And, you it's not incumbent upon a woman to do that. That is a man's right to meet his match. You know what I mean? In a especially now in a day and age where we can talk to people all over the world, we have so much more access to each other.
yes,
So it's not that it's slim pickings out there, but it's not going to be okay anymore. We're going to see this more and more, like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. It's not okay anymore. It's not okay anymore. And we can't rely on the
exactly,
system anymore just to immediately default, because that toxicity is starting to come really into the fore. Now, I'm not saying that, again, not saying that women don't deserve rights. I am an old school feminist, okay? But old school. And I think what started to happen is that, it's nice to be independent. I'm grateful that I am. I'm grateful that I can take care of myself and that I can survive. But there was there's a different dynamic when, even, it doesn't matter even what kind of relationship you're in, but when you are honoring both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you find not only yourself more in balance, but the people you deal with. And I think
yep,
what's really amazing is that I think more and more women are starting to recognize that now. And I hate to say it, but there is a divide among women that are trying to defend femininity and the divine sacred feminine. And I think there are men that are seeing that and not only want to honor that as well, but also want to heal themselves. There are more men now that are going into therapy, more men now that are investigating different spiritual paths in order to help heal themselves. It's all coming out. It's all coming out in the wash. So I know things are crazy right now in the world for whoever's listening, wondering what is going on every time you open your news feed. I know it seems crazy, but I think we are in a time of great transition, and transition
oh yeah,
always brings a little bit of chaos. So let's hang in there,
hmm,
stand in your light, stand in your truth, and stand in your shadow too. Own that and honor it. And then let's see where we can go forward from here.
exactly. I mean, especially with everything that we've been going through and everything, this is 2022, just numerologically is the year that being the restructure. We've already had the tower moments of self
Mm-hmm.
going on where literally the universe has sit your ass down, all right, and make you recognize, look at where you need to be whole. Because the only way to get what we're going through, and the reason why we're talking about the topic tonight, is that we need to recognize we got to start with self first. because we are walking magnets, and getting, making sure, because if we're not in balance, then the chakras get all out of balance, and then the kundalini's all blocked, and guess what, you're putting up roadblocks from your blessings and that delicious life you deserve. And we
Amen.
strongly believe y'all deserve to have that best life, but you got to
Absolutely.
work on doing you, boo, and making sure you're genuinely loving yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but truly, genuinely loving self. And the reason why that's so important, we're walking magnets. So you want that unconditional love. You want, having that, balanced people, as they say, and everything. Whatever you want in your life, you got to make sure you're doing it for yourself first, and it will be drawn to you. And so if you're not working on the things that need to be healed, because I know a lot of you, so many of you run away from it, and that's why you're chasing to all the external stuff, thinking all these prayers and spells and whatever type of things you're trying to do externally, and getting all that attention on the social media. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Instead of, the more you love yourself, the less you're going to post of your face, because you want to put out more knowledge to show other people how to be loving yourself and everything. You won't need that constant validation. Every once in a while, say, "Hey, how you doing? Here's a new cute one," and everything, but not like some influencers where they literally have to constantly, every day, 30, 20 pictures, posted up on, every form of social media possible, so they can constantly get that gratification because they're addicted to constantly having praise. you know. Man, oh, real quick, Man Mom Moon says hello. And
Hello.
Karen Grant says, you guys are discussing deep wounds for some, and it's certainly on point. Check your statistics on female sexual assault versus male sexual assault on pedophilia. Many other metrics are for basing your arguments on fact. We have checked them, been there, done that. Some people have it as a family history. I work in the mental health and everything, and some of my poor babies, my participants, because of their situation and everything, between their staff, family members, and taking an advantage of them and stuff. And recently, just a few months ago, we had that happen, where this young guy, he was able to fool the background check and all that stuff, and the participant he was supposed to be taking care of and everything took advantage of him being, a mentally challenged man on the autistic spectrum, and raped him. You know, drugged the poor man and raped him and everything. And so that's why, like we said, you got to work on that divine masculine and the divine feminine being in balance within self. You know, there's a time for when you need that service, and it's time for that receiving. Can't be give, 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 give. You got to, take as well. You know, take the blessings, take, the praise, and learn to genuinely recognize that you deserve it. Because people, where you're constantly, oh, I don't, oh, quit saying that. Oh, yeah. That's self sabotage, that unworthiness feeling inside, because you see the inner child not being properly, nurtured and loved and everything, and constantly being rejected. That's why, like you said, easy way to do it for me, like I teach my babies, that sleep meditation, using that subconscious. I got playlists here on my YouTube channel I use for myself. These are my personal playlists. Someday I'll make my own, things, but right now these are the ones I've been using for myself before I even started the ministry's show page and everything here on the YouTube. And I'm human, but we got to do it daily. Make it a part of your daily routine. Find something, whatever it is, whether you're worrying about finances, relationship problems, just self in general, or working, on the trauma of what happened to you as a child. An easy way to work through all the stuff without being triggered severely and, making it worse is work doing the sleep meditation through your subconscious, you know. Uh, Thank you, Sal Alba, for joining in. He's one of my business partners of Indigo Psychics. Very proud to be a partner with. And my other girl is Carrie Pierce. And she says, as women, we have to accept the fact we have faults too and not blame men and lash out at men for failed relationships. Yep, and vice versa. We need to recognize within ourselves. Because that's why one of the biggest things I preach to people who are, wanting to go to the next relationship, because they're refusing to work on what's hurting on the inside. And the reason why they're going through so many different relationships, because they keep waiting for the shoe to drop. Well, guess what? You're telling the universe and your ancestors and whoever you work with to happen. If you keep having that attitude, that's what you're going to get. And that's why you got to take the time, work on you, spend some time with yourself, genuinely fall in love with yourself. You want the soulmate, you want the true love, you got to start with you know, and then you'll attract that person. Because I have that one ritual I talk about on many of my shows where, to bring it, you use all the good attributes of your exes to bring in the true person. Because the reason why they're the ex, they didn't have everything that was meant to be your life partner. And and it's not fair to ask the universe or the gods, your guides, whoever you work with, ask the Almighty to bring in, the person you're supposed to be with, and you out of balance because you're refusing to go through the pain, and you're making that poor beautiful soul and everything pay for the sins of the past, and then you, because you refuse to work on self, screw up everything. And your true soulmate, life partner, twin flame, whatever you like to call them now these days, because you know how they got 50 million different names now these days with these babies. You know, it's totally ruined in this life because you refuse to work on yourself. You know, because that's another thing. Yep, I agree, Carrie. We have to acknowledge the toxic traits, and that's whether it be toxic femininity within self or toxic masculinity. And realize where we need to get that healing up so we get in balance. You know, is that simple? What
Absolutely.
you think, Miss
And
Carla?
well, and two, I mean, here's the thing with getting to statistics. What's sad these days, and this is, I actually wrote an article about this. I'm going to put it back out. Um, I'll type it up, in another format because I had to use the website for other space. But I wrote an article on my blog, had to be a little more than a year ago, about this,
Hmm.
about women in predation. And not only with young children, but men as well. And when it comes to things like intimate partner violence, yes, it's 1 in 4 women, but it's 1 in 9 men. And the thing is that I think part of our problem, and again, this is where again, talking about the wounding, we always keep focusing on the in 4, in 9, 1 in 25. That's not the important number. The important number is 1. That's the important number. So if you've got 100 people and 4 of them, that's the 4 we need to focus on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what's important because it's been just as damaging to them as it has to us. And then we wonder why, generation after generation, that we have cycles of unhealed dysfunctional relationships. And everybody's talking about, like, the divorce rate. Well, is it any wonder? Nobody
Exactly.
ever
Exactly.
nobody ever taught this to us. We teach women and young girls, we teach our young girls that your virtue, your virginity has value and it is worth keeping. We teach young boys to get rid of that shit as fast as possible.
Exactly.
We teach nothing about boundaries. We teach nothing about intimacy. We don't even say those words to young children. We don't
Mm-mm.
teach people equally to keep their hands to themselves. I remember growing up, sad as it is to say, all right, I'm a product of the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. And I went to a school where we had a very small 8th grade class. There was 16 of us, like 11 or 12 of us were girls, and there were like 3 or 4 boys, handful of boys. And we made their lives miserable. Miserable. We were picking on them constantly, only because we could. We could get away with
Yep.
it. What are you going to do? Hit me back? And then I go tell everybody he hit me. And who's going to get in trouble? See, that's the
Exactly.
toxicity that I'm talking about. It's letting
Hmm.
go of that entitlement. Just like they're not entitled to hurt us either. There's no entitlement there. But we have
Exactly.
conflated boundaries and harm. we've equated the word no to harm, and that's just simply not true. It is absolutely not true. And what's sad is that the FBI, okay, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you're talking about the highest law enforcement department in the country, okay? Until I believe it was 2009 or 2000, it was the early 2000s, but until that time, rape was only defined as sexual violence against a woman, forcible sex against a woman. According to the highest law of the
Mm-hmm.
land, a man, just by being a man, gives consent. And what kind of a message is that to the divine masculine? And why do you think we have
Exactly.
that imbalance? Because, we've taken away the equanimity in our intimacy and the partnerships in that. And then, we keep repeating the same stuff over and over and over again, and then wondering like why nothing gets better. Because equal parts,
Exactly.
both have to be accountable. And that includes
Mm-hmm.
us. We have to be just as
Yep.
accountable.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree with that. That's the only way we're going to finally get everything, in balance. Carrie says, Rev patience. I like this lady.
Oh, well, thank
Oh,
you,
trust me,
Carrie.
honey. Hey, Carrie's one of the testers, so you might as well say, if you want, you can consider this as an audition tonight, honey.
Okay.
Because if you're ready, I'm ready. Do you want to throw some cards or
Whenever you're
whatever you want to
ready.
read with tonight?
Whatever you
All
are
right,
up
everyone.
for. It's your hour. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, baby, we just kicking back. So, if y'all got your comments and questions ready, get them in the comments and stuff, and we will definitely throw some cards for you. Remember we got new moon in Scorpio. Yeah, Carrie says Generation X, throw cards, not hands. Yeah, we too old, honey. Them hands got
I mean,
arthritis.
unless you have to. Unless you have to. Like, I get it. There are times that it is
Oh
necessary,
yeah,
but
exactly. People always misjudge me because I'm 5'2", little Puerto Rican girl, Creola. And they think they don't realize I've been studying various forms of martial arts since I was 6 years old. Used to be an amateur MMA fighter in the early 2000s when I lived in Baltimore. You know, mm, trust me, just because I don't look like I move that fast, trust and believe me. That's one thing I love about when they give the quick judge, especially when it's a man. You know, it's like just because I'm short and a woman, don't think I can't do what I need to do. Because one of the greatest forms of kung fu is wushu, which is actually founded by a woman for women. Get in, get out, hitting all those lovely acupuncture points. Drop a dude, especially after you break a kneecap. Make anybody your height. Thank you. I know, Carrie. You're taller than me. I'm taller than you. Are you serious? What are you, 5 foot? Okay, here we go. Mama Moon, my girl down in Texas, Louisiana, the Southern Belle, Creole baby. Yep, she's 5 foot. So I'm 2 inches taller. Neater, neater. She wants to say, pull one for me, please.
all right. So you go first and then I'll do mine.
All right, girl. Bottom of the deck. As soon as I flipped it over, was the Empress.
Mm.
September, you coming in, honey, you going to be birthing a new thing. Besides ovulating and everything, but I know you ain't doing nothing foolish, so you ain't worried about getting pregnant. But what you've been manifesting, what you've been waiting for, is coming to fruition, baby. You about to get birth to it. September is going to be a big month for a lot of people, babies. I know August has been a major shift because we've had some major astrological things. I mean, don't we got like new moon coming up on the 27th, 28th, something like that?
Yeah.
In Scorpio. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh yeah, yep, 27th Saturday. Yeah, so take advantage of it, babies. Cut them ties. Take them black walnut baths. Get whatever it could be, person, place, thing. The imbalance of whatever toxic things you got going on in your life and all everything. Oh, one of my favorite things to do is take them at least 9 of the walnuts. Some people like to do one, but I like to do nine because I like the water really rich and really black. Boil them for a good 3 hours. And but you're halfway through, you're gonna have to add more water. And about 15 minutes toward the last hour of your boiling, go start your bath and everything in the bathtub if you got one and everything. If not, let it cool down and then sit in your shower and do the old fashioned way and sit in the shower and and pour it over the head and bloosh and just wash it over yourself. You know, sometimes some people, because or equally divided into 9 cupfuls coming out of the pot, doing over the head, doing 9 times as well, reading Psalms 37 and 91. And then if you're in the bathtub, I recommend dunking yourself at least 9 times and everything, and thinking as every time you go down, all that toxicity and everything and whatever is not serving your highest good is being soaked up by the black walnut water and everything. And then um being there and also I asked to add some Epsom salt to help pull out even extra toxins and everything. And then anytime you're doing a Dunkin' bath, the way I was taught and everything, and I teach my babies is don't get right out of the water. You let it drain down and out. So as it's going down the drain, you're thinking about all that stuff being pulled physically, spiritually out the body and everything. And you will feel it too, especially when you keep concentrating that it's doing its job.
Mhm.
And if going down and then get out, spray yourself, don't dry yourself off, let yourself air dry, and then spray yourself down with Florida water and air dry, and then go about your business and what you're doing. Yes, ma'am, Mama. That was confirmation what you've been working on, girl. Like we've been talking about. Okay, you and the babies, you gonna be fine. All is good. Don't worry. September gonna be a good month for you, baby.
Yes, it is.
All right.
And what I pulled for you, Mama Moon, is this is the Slavic Lenormand, but it's called the Grave, which is it's more or less the death card, and it pretty much means the same thing in the Lenormand as it does in tarot. It is a need to release. So what needs to come in, you need to make room.
Mm-hmm.
So as we were talking about the new moon in Scorpio, a good time to cut ties, walnut baths, whatever it is that you need to purge, cord cut, whatever it is. People have all different types of ways, but whatever that is, make sure that you're releasing so that what's coming in has room.
Exactly. Oh, Miss Carrie says, "Ooh, I like a Slavic card."
You got it, Miss Pierce. And pull something for you.
Yeah, sis, for your conzo, I got the Empress and Hierophant. So yeah, it's confirmation. You giving birth to self,
Ooh.
totally, spiritually, physically, every way imaginable. It's happening.
So say goodbye to the old.
Yep, exactly.
Bury it. It's
Uh
dead.
huh. Exactly. Exactly. So
All
what do
right,
we
so
got
for
for Miss
Miss
Carrie?
Carrie. Oh, I like it, Miss Carrie. I like it because I pulled the clover for you.
Ooh, that's a good. Ooh, that's good luck.
It's a
Ooh, good luck
good card.
story.
That's good luck, joy, and fortune and prosperity.
Yes, it is.
So blessings, 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 blessings.
Whoa.
But what I love about the Slavic card is that it features not just clover, but the bees. And remember, we attract more with honey than we do with vinegar. Okay. So be sweet to what you want. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I just literally had 5 cards come out to go along with it. They literally flipped them over. You've been working on self for a cup. I mean, excuse me, 4 of swords. You've been doing that, healing and working, especially on inner self and inner child. The 6 of cups, becoming, the career woman, queen of, wands, getting that inspiration, kicking ass and taking names, star. And because of you working on that healing and everything, you got the 10 of wands. But in my cup, you see the crow. Okay, the crow has lifted it up. The burdens are being lifted because you worked on that mindset. You worked on self. That happy life that you've been wanting is coming. You know. So, like she said, you want to think everything. You've been doing the work. It's September. Like I said, everybody, it's gonna be a good day. Yes, she's known as the salty psychic. I can't wait to have her back on the show. Um,
You're welcome.
Saul says, "Nice, Carrie." Right? You're welcome, Miss Carrie. She says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Okay. Next one will be Danny Chin. He says, "Please pull a card for me, thank you." He says, "Excuse typos. It's all good, dude.
It's all
It
good.
happened." I love it when Carrie goes, "This one." Hold on, give me a second. I barely tossed it and literally just lifted up and boom.
Oh, somebody's got something to say to Danny. Oh, 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 oh.
Ooh, they
Okay.
stressed him bad. I got the Ten of Swords. Feeling like the stab in the back. It's a younger person. Knight of Wands. You and your younger brother having a problem. Let's see what we got here.
So, for Danny, I pulled for you the key. And what the key is, it's about opportunity, but it's also about liberation and it's about resolution. Okay? So whatever that 10 of swords is, what's starting to happen is and this is what I'm saying. Imagine your hands so tight around barbed wire. You ever hold something real tight for a long time? Your hands almost get cramped and stuck that way. And it's like it's almost as painful to let go as it is to hold on, but you're not going to heal. It's not going to get better until you let go. So you got to open your hands up and you got to step away and resolve the situation to the best of your ability, maintain your peace, see this as an opportunity going forward. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I think the main is always been is about the money, and what it is that the reason why you get the Ten of Swords, Nine of Wands, and the Five of Coins is that you're getting because you've been working. Because if we've, like we talked about, working on the subconscious and working on the subliminals and disciplining yourself, so you can get reignited and repassionate, and forward, to help you get out of that lack mindset, if that makes sense. So everything's going to be fine. You keep working on yourself, keep moving forward, and you're going to be good. You
And
know
it will resolve itself. There is resolution
exactly.
coming here.
Oh yeah, he says correction, blessed Reverend. I'm the younger twin. Yeah. So don't worry about what's going on. Just keep working on self. Especially let go of the how, when, and where, and where the money's coming from. That's what they call the lack mindset. All right. You got to remember the more positive we are, the more the blessings come in. Just sit back and force yourself to take a nap and listen to the subliminals that's going to allow you to let go of that mindset. And so you can be at ease and keep thinking, I'm a walking magnet. I deserve to be wealthy. Money flows to me in large amount, even while I'm asleep, even while I'm not working, easily and effortlessly. The more money I have, the more people I can help in my community. And it's you got to say that to yourself daily, besides doing the subliminals and stuff. And when you find yourself getting worried and everything, you got to literally, as I say, self-discipline. Be your we have to be our own self-master, and check ourselves and say, what the fuck you doing? No, not today. No, nope, nope. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, let me go in here. Let me put my little relax a little bit. And if you have to, take some time for yourself. Literally schedule it. I make sure I take advantage of my night sleep every night. I make it a part of my daily routine. And it's oh girls, boys, my beloveds, it has made a world. That's why I help teach it and everything. Because one thing you learn about me and anybody, especially associated with Indigo Psychics, we're not going to teach you anything or guide you anything or recommend anything we have not done for ourselves. Okay. So, we're not out here, just randomly giving, advice and recommendations to people that we know, you know, I am that type of person, and I know my girl is the type of person, and everybody that works, with Indigo Psychics that sponsors my show about, we're not going to, misguide you just for selfish reasons. Because we want to see you all having that life, that you deserve, you know. Okay. And Danny says, okay, thank you and blessings. You
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much. Saul says, amen. Preacher have faith. Eh, thank you, brother.
So
Okay.
Fire Mesa says she wants a card.
Yep. I'm clicking on it right now. What you got, honey?
I've got the Fox.
Ooh, and I got the Queen of Cups.
You need to take care of yourself, honey.
Yes, girl.
You need to take care of yourself. This is a matter of self care and cunning and caution. Careful.
Exactly. Remember, the Queen of Cups, she controls the environment. She controls her emotions and how everybody, in the scene and situation and how they're feeling about it. You
Mm-hmm.
have the power to do that, to have the upper hand. But you got to work on yourself to have that confidence with it. I got a great playlist to help you with that and everything. So you can be the Queen of Cups that you need to be. So when, the fox come along and they being sly, no matter if it, family, friend, intimate, or whatever, you can see through the trickery because you are in tune. And one of my ways to keep a control, because a lot of women's, no matter what our signs is, we associate well because we're emotional beings. Okay, and ruling our emotions is the water element, and being the Queen of Cups helps represent the feminine divine to me in a lot of ways. And one way to help with that, get your lavender. Like my husband says, I'm like the Frank House lady in the commercial. I put that shit on everything.
Look at they.
And the reason why is it's not just about being relaxed and everything. It helps when you have the crown chakra in the middle of your forehead, left and right temple, in the back of your neck, left and right side, putting that on daily. It has been medically proven, and you can look this up, that it will give you mental clarity and focus. It keeps depression away and anxiety away. And then on the spiritual level, the reason why you're able to have that mental clarity and focus is because it keeps you protected from anything malevolent, no matter if it's physical or someone else's negative energy or emotions attaching to you. And because a lot of us, who are spiritual in any way, and especially on the empathic strong ones like us, you soak in all these other emotions, and there's nothing really wrong with it, but you can't understand why you're feeling a certain, some kind of way. Well, this will help give you that clarity of, okay, this is what's going on. They doing their foolishness. No, no, you and your negativity, you need to get to stepping because you've already caught it, because you're working on yourself, you know
And to answer your
so
question, Carrie, it's the Slavic Folklore Lenormand deck, and it's by Faina Laura, and you can get them on Etsy.
yes, girl, send me the link after the show. I
I
want to
will.
get one too. Yes. Awesome. For Mrs. says, lavender's my fave. Okay, yep. Like I tell people, change all your household products, whether it be your body wash, your laundry detergent, your daily, a bedtime spray, your household spray. Make your home your physical temple of your body to your place where you lay your head and eat at. It needs to be your sanctuary from the foolishness in this world so we can recharge and heal ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves and put ourselves first in that way, how are we able to take care of anybody else? Like you said, we need to know that balance. We need to know when we need to pull back, because many times, too many people are. Carrie said, "Thank you. You're welcome, honey." Um, will sit there and be people pleasers, and that's a form of self-sabotage because of
Mm-hmm.
that childhood trauma that you refuse to heal and everything. And the problem, I used to have that problem from before I started working on my shadow self, and I'll be helping folks so much, whether it be family, friends, work, whatever, that I literally would make myself so sick. I've had cancer 3 times. I literally would have, when I used to, before I had my hysterectomy, I would literally work myself into bed with a period and a flu or the cold at the same time, where you feel like you're praying for death's bed to make it stop. You know what I'm saying? But still trying to help somebody, and then finally you just got to go, whoa, no, not today. I got to do me. And if they can't respect that, like, a lot of people are, I understand you're very busy. At least take 20 minutes for yourself. If you can, I understand if you can't do 20 minutes a day, because especially if you're a parent busy with kids and or a big business or whatever. But 20 minutes a day, but at least do once a week, 20 minutes, whether if it's reading, taking a nap, taking a spiritual bath, going for a walk, meditation of some kind, outdoors, indoors, or however you like to do it, your yoga, whatever. But you need to have that time for yourself.
Mhm.
So at least take a little bit of time, a week. So like in my crow deck that I'm using tonight, when you look at the Ace of Cups, you'll see one bird hovering around, and you see another one drinking from the cup when it comes to the crows. And I always remember them. Everybody needs to be that hovering bird that needs waiting to come down and drink from the pond below. Okay. You need to be the only one drinking from your cup. And if the cup's running low, you need to say, hey, I need to recharge. And if they can't respect that, no matter if it's friendly, friend, intimate, whatever, they need to get to stepping. They need to respect you. Because if you can't, you know, feel guilty for it, that's the problem. Too many people feel guilty for putting up boundaries because people get, like you said, shamed. Mm.
And another important thing too, I think, with what you were just saying, Reverend Patience, is
Mhm.
in pulling the Queen of Cups, don't forget what the element of water is. The element of water, it's not only just purifying, blessing, it's not just emotional, but remember that water takes the form of whatever it's in. Whatever vessel it's
Exactly.
in, that's the form that water takes. Okay?
Hmm.
Yet it is gentle, it's cleansing, but it's strong. It is strong enough to cut through rocks. That's how every river on the planet was made, is the carving of water through rock. And when you're consistent and you are steady and you flow, that's where your power is. So, for anybody out there who is working on manifesting things or trying to
Hmm.
get things, put in the effort, but let spirit be responsible for the outcome. We have to let
Yes.
go sometimes of our need to control that how, when, and why, because that's not always up to us.
Hmm.
Spirit already has that weight, that it's in the mail. It's already coming to you. But if you're going to
Hmm.
be worried about what the package looks like when it shows up, you're going to miss it. So
Exactly. And that's
stay
a slap in
focused.
the ancestors' face, honey. And the gods that you're working with. And that's why it's so important, no matter what, everybody needs to be doing meditation, no matter what spiritual path or religion you practice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even the Dalai Lama says the best form of meditation is sleep.
Yes.
You can use your
Rest.
subconscious because when you're asleep, all that self sabotaging triggers that you got and everything, they're embedded deeply in there, down to the cellular level. Those triggers are turned off while you're sleeping. And also blend in at night with your lavender. Anoint yourself again. Anoint yourself first before you go out into the world and everything and start your day, but also do yourself before you go to bed. And so, especially with, like you're saying, with everything, the ascension type thing that we're going through, a lot of us are leaving our bodies more than what we realize during our sleep. So we need to keep ourselves protected, and we might as well take advantage of that healing. Blend in cedarwood oil. One of my favorites is Texas cedarwood, with the lavender, because cedarwood, and you can look this up. You know, they have new medical records showing proof that the smell of cedarwood aroma therapy helps you down to the cellular level to release trauma. And see, our cells know no time. So every time you refuse to work on things and you get re-triggered, you're making your body relive all that toxicity and negative energy. And guess what you're doing? Not only to your spiritual health, but to your physical health. That's why you see people who have problem with cancer and everything, no matter how physical well they're exercising and they're also eating good, but they're still getting cancer. It's because of what they're speaking out their mouths and refusing to work on the subconscious
Mm-hmm.
because they're such a negative person in spirit. You
You know
know.
who does great work with that too on metaphysics, if anybody's ever interested, is Louise Hay. She passed not that long ago. But
Hmm.
she talks about how those issues that we carry within us manifest themselves as physical illness.
Yes.
Like cancer is resentment and it rots the container.
Mm.
You have problems with your sexual organs. What's wrong with your sexual health?
Yep.
What is it about your womb and your femininity that you're rejecting? Is there something happen back there? You have thyroid issues. Well, basically thyroid is a hormone regulating organ. Where is it that you're not growing? Why isn't it that you have diabetes? Why are you depriving yourself the sweetness of life? Why aren't you making yourself happy that way? Heart
Exactly.
issues, where's your self love? And it
Mhm.
sounds crazy. Ever notice too that when you feel overwhelmed, tell me you don't get a headache or sinus issues. Why?
Mhm.
Because you feel pressured, you feel burdened. Same thing with shoulder and back
Mhm.
problems. You're carrying too much. So all
Yep.
of that comes out in our physical bodies when we're not addressing it within, emotionally
Amen.
and spiritually. And it has to be threefold. You have to go with this emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Mhm.
It's like a
Exactly.
tripod because anything else is just off kilter, it's off balance. But anything you stand on those three legs, it's not going to shake. You stand strong when you do that.
Mhm. It's the trifecta of self that you have to take care of. That's the first trinity you got to worry about and everything. And people don't, that's one of the reasons why I left working in the medical world. I used to work as a medical biller and coder. And I've seen all the greed, and especially with big farm. That's why they don't like people like us, because we want to see the person healed, and they see the problem with Western medicine is they don't recognize the trifecta connection like they do in the East and everything. And so, that's why, you still go in different places of China, Japan, Korea, any places out in the like that. There are pharmacies, literally, you still have modern medicine, but also you have the traditional of the using of the herbs on the other side and everything. Here all they want is a repeat customer. I've literally had pharmaceutical reps tell me that
Hmm.
and everything, you know.
Well, cures don't
Oh,
make money, treatments make money. Keeping
exactly.
people sick makes money. Cures
Exactly.
cures aren't, they're not
Hmm.
profitable in that
Hmm.
way, which is
That's
sad.
why and that's why a lot part of me doesn't like traditional therapy and everything, where every time especially the deep hardcore sessions to find out what's triggering you, but instead of trying to teach the person how to heal from it, oh, here's a drug that no, don't give them the drug. Okay, all right, we found out what the problem is, let's give it the proper solution so we are completely healed. But no,
Hmm.
they are just as bad as going to the regular heart, doctors for other things. Whatever is wrong with you, that's their answer for everything, because they get all these kickbacks, and it's
And
sickening.
what I find is interesting too, there's if for any of you who are Netflix people, there's a great documentary out that's called How to Change Your Mind. And what they're starting to finally do is give more credence into the research of herbals and psychedelics. Now, I'm in
Hmm.
recovery. I'm 14 years sober, so I'm not sitting there and telling people to go get a handful of mushrooms, sit in a field and trip balls. Okay, because
Right.
that may not necessarily be the answer. But the research that they're doing on guided use of these substances is helping people with anxiety, severe post traumatic and complex post traumatic stress,
Hmm.
obsessive compulsive disorder, addictions, because it's allowing the mind, which really your brain's job is to keep you safe, not happy, which is why we
Hmm.
fight so much with logic and emotion. Okay.
Right.
So it lets your brain relax so that you can safely process that, but then not have those biochemical set-offs in your nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, the amygdala, all of those brain systems that keep us in a constant state of hypervigilance, that keep us addicted to the chaos, that keep us chained
Hmm.
to those unhealthy patterns. That's it, it lets all that rest so that you can process out that old stuff, whether it was long term abuse, whether it was a life of poverty, neglect, that bad, emotionally abusive relationship that left you broken and reeling that you can't seem to heal from. It lets all that out. So if anybody's
Yes.
interested, I would definitely check that out on Netflix.
I I highly recommend it as well. Love you too, Jamie, my girl at work. Hey, my girls. Oh, hi, Miss Claire. I hope it's not too late, and I hope you're still tuned in. She's saying hello from the UK.
Hey.
Um, Thanks for joining us, hon. Um, Sweetheart, time has flown so fast and so quick. I
Whew.
definitely, like I said, I look forward to having you, join the Indigo family and everything. We got big things, going on and stuff. And like I said, we besides just being about the contacting us, our spiritual advisors and teachers, we have different spiritual type shows and stuff. We're looking to start even a TV network type thing, where it's strictly spiritual and paranormal, type stuff and everything. So, oh, Mama Taurus, Mamita, it's all good. The Norican vegan, one of my favorite girls in the world. She says, "Sorry for my tardiness." She was popping in to
It's
say
okay.
hello. Hey, the whole point is that you showed up. You know, Again, real quick, let everybody know how to get a hold of you, how to get an in-person reading and everything. Again, I can't wait to have you back on the show, honey.
Oh, this was wonderful. Thank you so much. So I will leave my contact the best way. If you are on Instagram, I am at Slavic, which is SLAVIC underscore crimson underscore moon. And you can always reach out to me on Instagram if you're interested. I don't have scheduled times right now, but I do have availability. So if you're interested in a private reading, please just reach out and let me know.
Awesome. Thank you again, sweetheart, for joining us. Thank you again for everyone for joining in. And like I said, the show is sponsored by Indigo Psychics, which I'm a proud family to be a part of. And, hopefully soon Miss Carla will be joining us as well. And, we have a little bit of everybody to help you out. And, it is our pleasure to be the guidance that you need so you can live this most delicious life. Stay blessed and good night, y'all. Love y'all.